You are living through a transition that is deeper than a change in politics, technology, education, or public debate. It is a transition from intellectual influence without accountability towards grounded intelligence that can enter culture, organize difference, build trust, and convert thought into responsible action. For decades, academic theory, ideological language, and behind-the-scenes influence carried enormous prestige. Intelligent people were trained to interpret systems, criticize institutions, expose contradictions, and reshape public narratives. Those functions remain necessary, but they are no longer sufficient because the world is not suffering from a shortage of interpretation. It is suffering from a shortage of integration, judgment, coordination, and accountable execution. You can explain a social fracture without repairing it. You can publish a theory of belonging without building a community. You can advocate diversity without creating cooperation. You can defend freedom without strengthening responsibility. You can influence leaders without accepting the consequences of the decisions you helped shape. This is the central weakness of disembodied intelligence. It can remain impressive while reality continues to deteriorate around it. The real test of any idea begins after the applause ends. What happens when the idea enters institutions, families, workplaces, neighborhoods, and public systems? Who carries the cost? Who manages resistance? Who protects continuity? Who remains accountable when unintended consequences appear? Who stays after the intellectual excitement has faded? These are not secondary implementation questions. These are wisdom questions. The academic mind is trained to question, compare, analyze, and critique. This protects society from dogma, propaganda, institutional arrogance, and inherited assumptions. However, the ability to analyze a system is not the same as the ability to govern one. The ability to identify injustice is not the same as the ability to create legitimate order. The ability to imagine alternatives is not the same as the ability to sequence change. The ability to criticize culture is not the same as the ability to sustain one. This distinction matters because modern intellectual culture often rewards problem identification more visibly than problem resolution. Critique is dramatic. Maintenance is quiet. Disruption attracts attention. Continuity rarely does. Theory moves quickly, while trust, competence, and institutional stability may take years to build. The result is a dangerous division of labor. One group produces language, another group absorbs consequences. One group advocates transformation, another group manages the transition. One group gains moral visibility, while another group carries operational risk. The future cannot be built through this separation. The grounded intelligentsia of the future will not reject theory. It will reject theory that refuses responsibility. It will not reject academic knowledge. It will reject academic isolation. It will not reject freedom. It will reject freedom without maturity, reciprocity, or consequence. Freedom remains essential because concentrated power, imposed conformity, and institutional control must always be questioned. Yet freedom becomes unstable when it is separated from interdependence. Autonomy without belonging becomes fragmentation. Choice without discernment becomes consumption. Suspicion without construction becomes cynicism. Individualism without reciprocity becomes loneliness, presented as independence. The central question is not whether freedom matters. The central question is whether freedom has developed the responsibility required to remain sustainable. You cannot demand the benefits of civilization while treating all obligation as oppression. You cannot defend individual autonomy while ignoring the families, communities, infrastructures, cultures, and ecosystems that make autonomy possible. Mature freedom is relational. It allows individuals to question authority, shape decisions, preserve dignity, and develop identity without pretending that human beings exist separately from one another. This is where theory must enter reality. Until an idea becomes action, you do not fully know what the idea is. You know only how it sounds. Action reveals assumptions that language conceals. Action exposes missing stakeholders. Action uncovers hidden costs. Action shows whether a principle can survive cultural complexity, emotional pressure, and practical limitation. A living intelligence allows reality to respond. It does not dismiss every failure as poor implementation or ideological resistance. It asks what the idea failed to understand. It studies results, listens to affected people, revises methods, and remains present when outcomes become difficult. This is the movement from influence towards accountability. Influence from behind the scenes can be useful, but it becomes dangerous when invisibility protects the influencer from consequence. When recommendations succeed, the advisor claims foresight. When they fail, the institution is blamed for execution. When communities resist, the people are described as uninformed. When evidence contradicts the theory, the evidence is reframed instead of the theory being corrected. The grounded thinker behaves differently. The grounded thinker says, I helped shape this direction, and I will help carry it. I will remain accountable to the people affected. I will revise what does not work. I will not disappear when theory becomes consequence. This transition also demands that you examine the relationship between theory and identity. You know that an idea has stopped functioning as a tool when questioning it feels like questioning your worth. You know, ideology has become psychological shelter when evidence is judged according to whether it protects your group. You know, intellectual life has become tribal when curiosity ends at the boundary of belonging. This can happen in every tradition. A freedom-centered philosophy may reveal coercion but ignore dependence. A community-centered philosophy may reveal belonging but ignore conformity. A market-centered philosophy may reveal incentives but ignore moral obligation. A state-centered philosophy may reveal coordination but ignore concentrated power. A tradition-centered philosophy may reveal continuity but ignore exclusion. A progress-centered philosophy may reveal possibility but ignore inherited wisdom. The future intelligentsia must become post-ideological without becoming unprincipled. This does not mean abandoning values. It means refusing to let one framework claim ownership of the whole world. Principles such as dignity, truthfulness, accountability, and non-dehumanization remain firm, while methods remain adaptive to context. This is disciplined contextual intelligence. Culture is central to this process because culture is not decoration added after policy. Culture determines how people interpret authority, responsibility, family, trust, obligation, honor, conflict, change, and belonging. Every reform enters an existing world of symbols, memories, relationships, and fears. A technically correct solution can fail because it violates the cultural structures through which people recognize legitimacy. A well-designed program can create dependency because it ignores local reciprocity. A diversity initiative can increase resentment because imported categories do not match lived experience. A modernization project can destroy informal competence because procedures replace relationships before the procedures become trustworthy. Grounded intelligence therefore begins with different questions. What is already working here? Which relationships hold the community together? What historical experiences shape resistance? Who carries influence without formal authority? Which forms of knowledge exist outside institutions? What must be protected during change? What must be challenged despite tradition? This is not romantic culturalism. It is operational intelligence. Unity must also be understood differently. Unity does not require identical beliefs, it requires shared integrity. People can disagree deeply and still remain connected when truth matters, promises matter, standards matter, dignity matters, and no group is permanently exempt from accountability. Without integrity, unity becomes pressure to conform. Without shared responsibility, diversity becomes permanent separation. Mature unity allows you to disagree without dehumanizing. It allows you to protect your cultural identity without denying another person's dignity. It allows you to preserve judgment without losing compassion. It allows conflict to exist without destroying the shared field. Diversity becomes valuable only when it can coordinate. Difference creates potential, but coordination converts potential into capability. A group can include many backgrounds and viewpoints while remaining unable to decide or act. Representation alone does not create collective intelligence. Shared purpose, role clarity, transparent decision-making, conflict capacity, and behavioral accountability are still required. This is where critical thinking archetypes become practical. People do not only differ in opinion, they differ in attention, evaluation, and action. Some begin with possibility, others begin with risk. Some trust internal judgment, others seek external confirmation. Some prefer options, others prefer procedures. Some see systems, others see details. Some seek agreement, others detect difference immediately. These variations are not defects, they are cognitive resources. The problem begins when one archetypal mode claims universal authority. The visionary sees possibility but may ignore sequence. The strategist sees dependencies but may over-control. The reformer sees injustice but may underestimate continuity. The pragmatist sees workable action but may ignore deeper causes. The maverick challenges conformity but may reject necessary structure. The innovator sees new possibilities but may confuse novelty with improvement. The guardian protects continuity but may preserve forms after their purpose has disappeared. The executor delivers results but may move faster than understanding. The diplomat preserves relationship but may avoid difficult truth. The creator generates meaning but may prioritize expression over usefulness. The catalyst creates urgency but may abandon consolidation. The architect designs systems but may produce structures that are elegant from above and unworkable from within. The arbitrator weighs competing claims but may confuse neutrality with justice. The administrator preserves order but may allow procedure to replace purpose. No single archetype can govern the whole. Civilizational intelligence appears when these modes challenge and complete one another. The visionary needs the guardian. The reformer needs the architect. The catalyst needs the administrator. The maverick needs the arbitrator. The creator needs the executor. The innovator needs the pragmatist. The diplomat needs the strategist. The purpose of critical thinking is not to defend your preferred mode. It is to expand your cognitive range. You must learn to recognize what your mind notices quickly and what it repeatedly excludes. You must understand how your strengths become distortions under pressure. This is why critical thinking is more than argumentation. It is the capacity to observe your own certainty while it is being produced. It is the discipline of asking, what does my framework make me unable to see? A practical movement from thought into action can be organized through 5 stages: conceptualizing, cognizing, comprehending, characterizing, and concluding. Conceptualizing asks what the issue actually is. Many conflicts begin because people use the same words for different realities. Freedom, justice, equality, culture, and progress are often emotionally charged but operationally undefined. Cognizing asks what you are noticing and what you are filtering out. Your attention is selective. One person sees opportunity, another sees risk. One person sees individual agency, another sees structural pressure. Comprehending asks how the elements relate across time, culture, incentives, emotions, and consequences. What appears as resistance may be fear. What appears as ignorance may be local knowledge expressed through unfamiliar language. Characterizing asks what kind of problem you are facing. A trust problem cannot be solved only through procedure. A competence problem cannot be solved through revised terminology. A legitimacy crisis cannot be solved through better public relations. Concluding asks what must now be decided and done. This is where many intellectual cultures retreat, because every conclusion closes options and creates responsibility. Yet refusing to conclude also creates consequences. A mature conclusion does not claim perfect certainty. It creates a reasoned commitment based on present evidence, explicit values, and a willingness to revise. This is the transition from opinion into operating capacity. Opinion tells people what you believe. Operating capacity creates roles, structures, decisions, relationships, safeguards, and learning processes that make the principle usable beyond the person who expressed it. Saying that you value diversity is not the same as building an institution where difference can contribute effectively. Saying that you support freedom is not the same as distributing power while preserving accountability. Saying that you support local communities is not the same as transferring resources and decision-making authority. Saying that you encourage critical thinking is not the same as protecting disagreement from social punishment. The future will be shaped by people who can convert values into behavior. This transition also changes the role of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence should not become another machine for faster opinion, automated ideological performance, or content without consequence. Its higher value lies in expanding cognitive range, revealing blind spots, comparing perspectives, modeling trade-offs, improving coordination, and converting complex knowledge into practical options. However, artificial intelligence does not remove the need for judgment. It intensifies it. Machines can generate possibilities, identify patterns, and accelerate analysis. Human beings must still decide what should not be optimized, which values remain non-negotiable, what cultural legitimacy requires, and which efficiencies may create hidden dependency. Artificial intelligence should amplify responsible human intelligence, not replace human responsibility. The grounded intelligentsia of the future will therefore be judged by what grows around it. Do people become more capable after engaging with your ideas? Do institutions become more transparent? Do communities gain agency? Does disagreement become more intelligent? Does culture become more alive? Does diversity become more cooperative? Does technology become more humanly integrated? This is the difference between influence and generativity. Influence changes what people repeat. Generativity changes what people can do. The age of detached theory is fading because reality is demanding participation. The world does not need fewer thinkers. It needs thinkers who are willing to enter consequence. It needs builders who can think, reformers who can preserve, guardians who can evolve, creators who can organize meaning, and leaders who can accept responsibility for imperfect decisions. The final question is not whether your ideas are intellectually impressive. The final question is whether your intelligence helps reality become more coherent. Can you turn thought into action without losing reflection? Can you preserve freedom while strengthening responsibility? Can you honor culture without freezing it? Can you build unity without demanding sameness? Can you use diversity as coordinated intelligence rather than symbolic representation? Can you use artificial intelligence to strengthen human judgment rather than weaken it? These are the transition points that will define the 21st century. Like this episode, if it sharpened your thinking, share it with people who are ready to move beyond passive opinion, and subscribe to the channel for more education on critical thinking, leadership, culture, human behavior, and the responsible future of intelligence. Follow my LinkedIn newsletter for deeper articles, practical frameworks, and continuing conversations on progressive thinking, grounded leadership, and the movement from ideas into action. Share your views in the comments, including where you see theory replacing responsibility and how you believe artificial intelligence can support more capable, humane, and culturally grounded societies.